Chinese Minister for Foreign Affairs and State Councillor Wang Yi is set to arrive in Kathmandu tomorrow for a 3-day official visit to Nepal. Foreign Minister Yi is scheduled to hold talks with high-ranking government officials and senior political figures during the visit. The high-level visit of the Chinese delegation is being observed with significance at a time when the two sides have failed to collaborate on several aspects, including China's concerns regarding the recently ratified American Grant Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC Nepal Compact. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. With only 50 days remaining for local elections, political parties uncertain about their need for collaboration with other entities, Election Commission expedites preparations. Upcoming official Nepal visit of Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, an opportunity to implement past agreements, including BRI, and address confusions regarding MCC Nepal Compact. U.S. President Joe Biden reaches Brussels, Belgium for a series of summit meetings on the Russian-Ukraine war. NATO's chief says the alliance is bolstering battle groups in Eastern Europe. And National Women's League football tournament to kick off from today. Defending champions Armed Police Force up against Tribhuvan Army Club in the inaugural match in Chitwan. With only 50 days remaining for the local elections, political parties and the Election Commission have busied themselves in preparations for the polls. While the political parties are still assessing their need and possibilities for collaboration with other entities for the polls, the Apex Election Authority is set to begin printing the ballot papers from next week for the election slated for 13th of May. The Election Commission has also made preparations for the appointment of election officers. More in this report.
The Election Commission is to start printing the ballot papers from the 30th of March for the nearing local election. As tender for required resources for the ballot papers have already been called, the papers are certain to be procured on time. The Commission has assigned the responsibility of printing the ballot papers to Janak Education Material Center. According to the Commission, other 57 kinds of resources required for the election would begin arriving from the last week of March. Meanwhile, 15 kinds of materials available locally would be procured by the district election offices. The Commission has already initiated awareness program on election code of conduct, while preparations are underway to deploy election officers at all 753 local levels from the 29th of March. As the Election Commission has already updated the voters list, it is set to publish the final list of voters on the 27th of March. A total of 79 parties are set to contest at the local election.
In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents of several provinces about their opinion on the political parties' aspirations for alliance for the nearing local polls. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
स्वार्थको लागि चाहिँ लागेको जस्तो देखिन्छ राज्य सञ्चालन गर्न सजिलो हुन्छ भन्नको लागि
चुनावका बेलाको गठबन्धन यो अपवित्र हो
चुनाव जित्नकै निम्ति
सत्ता प्राप्त गर्नको निम्ति मात्र
Chinese Minister for Foreign Affairs and State Councillor Wang Yi is arriving in Kathmandu tomorrow for a 3-day official visit to Nepal. Despite significant agreements between Nepal and China for development of infrastructures and aid, Nepal is yet to reap the expected benefits. At a time when the two sides have failed to collaborate on several aspects and China's concerns with the Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC Nepal Compact, the high-level visit of the Chinese delegation is being observed with significance. We have more in this report.
An agreement was reached with the government of China 4 years ago for the investment in Nepal's roadway, railway and hydroelectricity sector. These projects were under China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative. Around 18 agreements were signed for investment in sectors including infrastructures, agriculture, hydroelectricity, education and health during the official visit of Chinese President Xi Jinping on the 12th of October 2019. President Xi had expressed commitment of providing 56 billion rupees in aid for development of Nepal. However, the pledge is yet to be implemented. Those agreements have remained stranded as Nepal failed to make necessary agreements for their implementation. The government of Nepal had selected 27 projects under the BRI and had forwarded them to the government of China. Nepal then condensed those projects to 9 after China recommended having a single-digit number of projects. While both the nations are yet to reach an agreement on these projects, the government is making preparations to make a few amendments on past agreements during Chinese Foreign Minister's Nepal visit. As Nepal has ratified the American Grant Assistance (MCC) Nepal Compact from the Parliament, it appears that China has its concerns with the American aid program. Therefore, the upcoming visit of Yi would also be an opportunity to address such dilemma. The official visit of Chinese Foreign Minister to Nepal would be a success for the country if topics including the transit agreement reached during the border blockade imposed by India, resumption of exports obstructed since the coronavirus pandemic, and easing import arrangements were addressed.
The indefinite curfew imposed in Letang municipality in Morang district since last Monday has been lifted from this morning. The curfew had been imposed around Kirua in Letang municipality after a lady police personnel, Urmila Shrestha, died in an attack by an agitated crowd in Letang on Sunday. Clashes had erupted over the misbehavior against a girl child by Manoj Paudel, a teacher at Shiksha Vikas Secondary School in Kirua. The Province 1 Police Office has formed a 6-member committee under the leadership of SSP Rajendra Kumar Chaudhary to investigate on the murder of police personnel Urmila Shrestha. Liquidity crisis has resurfaced in the economy as development works have failed to gain momentum. Loans from banking and financial institutions have reduced since mid-March. Based on the data of the umbrella organization of the Chief Executive Officers of Commercial Banks, the Nepal Bankers Association, deposits at banks until 14th of March stood at 4.333 trillion rupees. However, the deposits decreased by 5 billion rupees 4 days later. Meanwhile, the loans at banks have decreased by 4 billion rupees in the same time period. However, in the first 8 months of the ongoing fiscal year, the overall deposit has increased by 3%, while the loans have increased by 12% in the same period. The excessive amount of loan in relative comparison to deposits has led to the liquidity crisis. And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. And here's the question: why has the demand for loans from banks reduced? Your options are A, absence of investment environment, B, high interest rate, and C, liquidity crisis at banks. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It's time now for the sports news. The National Women's League football tournament is scheduled to kick off from today. Defending champions Armed Police Force are playing against Tribhuvan Army Club in the inaugural match, which will start at 4 this afternoon in Chitwan's Bharatpur today. All Nepal Football Association ANFA is organizing the second edition of the tournament in Bharatpur and Biratnagar. 28 first-round matches will be played in Sardanagar Bharatpur, while the second-round matches in double round-robin format will be played in Biratnagar. Armed Police Force, Nepal Police Club, along with teams from Lalitpur, Biratnagar, Dhangadi and Chandrapur will be participating in the National Women's League football tournament. Each team will be permitted to include 4 foreign players. The league champions will bag a cash prize of 2 million rupees, while the runners-up will win 1 million rupees. APF had claimed the title of the first edition of the tournament by remaining undefeated. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.